The Carnegie Legacy: Intriguing Facts about Andrew Carnegie's Family and Descendants. Andrew Carnegie, a titan of the steel industry and a luminary in philanthropy, left an indelible mark not only on industry and charity but also on his descendants, who have lived under the weight and privilege of his legacy. Here's a closer look at some fascinating, and sometimes controversial, aspects of his family and their lives over the generations. Fact number 1. Louise Whitfield Carnegie, the philanthropic partner. Louise Whitfield Carnegie, Andrew Carnegie's wife, was not only a partner in marriage but also in philanthropy. Born in 1857 in New York to a wealthy merchant, she married Andrew in 1887, significantly influencing his charitable endeavors, particularly the establishment of over 2,500 Carnegie libraries worldwide. Louise's meticulous planning and commitment to education shaped much of the Carnegie philanthropic legacy. She also co-founded the Carnegie Hero Fund, inspired by a mining disaster, to support civilian heroes, reflecting her responsive and compassionate nature. After Andrew's death in 1919, Louise continued her philanthropic efforts until her passing in 1946. She played a crucial role in ensuring that the Carnegie institutions remained robust and true to their founding values, proving herself a significant figure in extending the Carnegie legacy of public good. Number 2. Margaret Carnegie Miller, unexpected heiress. Margaret Carnegie Miller, the only child of Andrew Carnegie and his wife Louise Whitfield Carnegie, was born on March 30, 1897, in New York City. Upon her father's death in 1919, she inherited his vast estate, which was valued at approximately $30 million, $450 million in today's dollars. Her inheritance included cash, securities, and significant real estate holdings across the United States. Margaret was tasked with the stewardship of major philanthropic entities such as the Carnegie Corporation of New York, founded in 1911 with an initial endowment of $135 million, and the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace. Despite the enormous responsibilities, Margaret managed these institutions with a level of discretion that kept her out of the public spotlight, maintaining a primary residence in Fairfield, Connecticut, and living a largely private life. Number 3. The Carnegie family feud. The legal battle over Andrew Carnegie's estate involved numerous family members and trustees, including Margaret, her mother Louise, and key figures such as Elihu Root, the executor of Carnegie's will and a former Secretary of State. The feud, which became particularly acrimonious in the early 1920s, centered on the control and direction of the Carnegie trusts. Some relatives believed that the trusts should be liquidated to provide larger immediate financial benefits to the family, while others argued for preserving the endowment to fund long-term philanthropic goals. This internal conflict led to several court cases, drawing public and media attention to the governance of one of America's largest private fortunes. Number 4. Roswell Miller's controversial lifestyle. Roswell Miller, who was the chairman of the board of the Chicago, Milwaukee, St. Paul, and Pacific Railroad, married Margaret Carnegie in April 1919. His flamboyant lifestyle in the 1930s was funded in part by his position and wealth, but also by his access to his wife's inheritance. Miller was known for hosting lavish parties at their grand estate and traveling extensively on luxury liners and private railcars. His expenditures were often highlighted in newspapers like the New York Times, which contrasted his lifestyle with the philanthropic legacy of his father-in-law, Andrew Carnegie. This public scrutiny peaked during the Depression era, adding to the family's notoriety and raising questions about the appropriateness of such opulence in times of widespread economic hardship. Number 5. The Homestead Strike, Andrew Carnegie's most scandalous incident. The Homestead Strike of 1892 is one of the most scandalous events associated with Andrew Carnegie, despite his reputation as a philanthropist. The strike at Carnegie Steel Company's Homestead plant in Pennsylvania escalated over wage cuts and poor working conditions. To break the strike, Carnegie and his plant manager, Henry Clay Frick, hired 300 Pinkerton detectives to secure the facility and replace the strikers. The arrival of the Pinkertons on July 6 led to a violent clash that resulted in 10 deaths and numerous injuries. Although Carnegie was in Scotland during the strike, he had given Frick the authority to manage the situation, effectively supporting the harsh measures. This incident significantly damaged Carnegie's public image by highlighting the contradiction between his philanthropic public persona and his aggressive industrial practices, sparking widespread debate on labor rights in America. Number 6. The sale of Skibo Castle. Skibo Castle, located in the Scottish Highlands, was acquired by Andrew Carnegie in 1898 for approximately £85,000. He then invested over £2 million, equivalent to about £250 million today, in renovations to transform the estate into a luxurious retreat. Under Carnegie, Skibo became a haven for luminaries of the time, hosting figures such as the Rockefellers and the King of England. In 1982, the Carnegie Trust sold the castle due to the high costs of maintenance and a strategic shift towards liquidating less essential assets. The sale represented a significant change in how the Carnegie legacy was managed, moving away from physical monuments of wealth to focus more on philanthropic endeavors. Number 7. Roswell Miller III, the enigmatic Carnegie descendant. Born in 1931, Roswell Miller III lived much of his life away from the public eye, adhering strictly to the family's tradition of privacy. He managed his inheritance discreetly, with few details of his activities or investments becoming public. This secrecy has led to rampant speculation about his personal life and the stewardship of the Carnegie fortune. Roswell's reluctance to engage with media or participate visibly in public philanthropy has sparked rumors about the possible reasons for such privacy, ranging from personal idiosyncrasies to strategic management of the vast wealth. His approach starkly contrasts with the very public philanthropic persona of his great-grandfather, Andrew Carnegie, highlighting a significant evolution in the family's public engagement. Number 8. The Gospel of Wealth. The Gospel of Wealth was published in June 1889 in the North American Review, an influential literary magazine. In this essay, Andrew Carnegie articulated his belief that the rich have a moral obligation to redistribute their wealth in ways that advance society, rather than leaving vast fortunes to their heirs. This philosophy was groundbreaking as it challenged the traditional views of wealth accumulation and usage at the time. Carnegie's ideas in this essay laid the groundwork for his later philanthropic contributions, influencing not only his personal giving but also setting a precedent that encouraged other wealthy individuals of the era to consider philanthropy as a duty. Number 9. Pioneering labor practices for his time. Andrew Carnegie, amidst the industrial chaos of the late 19th century, introduced forward-thinking labor practices in his steel mills. Notably, in 1892, amidst growing industrial unrest, he implemented a 10-hour workday, a reduction from the grueling 12-hour shifts that were common at the time. Additionally, Carnegie introduced a profit-sharing plan in 1889, which was intended to align the interests of his workers with the profitability of his mills, thereby attempting to create a more harmonious workplace environment. While these measures were progressive, they were also strategic, aiming to curb growing labor unrest and improve productivity. However, the effectiveness and sincerity of these practices were often questioned, particularly after the violent events of the Homestead Strike, which highlighted a significant contradiction between his professed beliefs and the practices implemented by his managers. Number 10. Carnegie Descendants disappear from public eye. By the 1950s, the third and fourth generations of the Carnegie family, including the children and grandchildren of Margaret and Roswell Miller, such as their son Roswell Miller III, had largely retreated from the public sphere. This withdrawal was noted with curiosity by society columns and financial journalists, who remarked on their absence from the social registers and public philanthropic events that had once been staples of Carnegie family involvement. Theories about their disappearance ranged from personal decisions to shun the public life to potential legal or financial issues that might have arisen from the management of the family's assets. This marked shift contributed to an aura of mystery surrounding the family, once considered among America's most public philanthropic figures.